Hello there, and welcome to me trying to explain Neverwinter to Baldur's Gate 3 players, or any new player, anyone who's thinking about starting to play Neverwinter. I don't know if that's a good video concept, probably not. What kind of person is actually like, I wonder if I should play that game, let me watch a 2-hour video on it, like... Anyway. The idea was, maybe there are people who played Baldur's Gate 3 and liked it and are now wondering if they should play Neverwinter, because it's also an RPG and it's also in the Dungeons & Dragons universe. And the short answer is, probably not. They are not very similar. The only thing these two games have in common really is that they're RPGs and that they're Dungeons & Dragons. Neverwinter has no story-changing choices, no relationships with companions, and no real role-playing. It's technically a role-playing game, but most people don't have a backstory or personality for their character, and they don't make choices based on what the character would do. And people aren't role-playing in the chat either. You could do most of those things, but you can't change anything in an in-game storyline. You're not the hero of the story, you're just one of the many people running around there. The mechanics and fights are also totally different, and Neverwinter is a lot further away from real-life tabletop D&D than Baldur's Gate 3 is. I think if you like D&D, or if you have, after playing Baldur's Gate 3, want to know more about the D&D universe, then maybe Neverwinter would be interesting for you. Neverwinter is an MMORPG, that stands for Massively Multiplayer Online Role-Playing Game. And that means that there's lots of player characters running around doing the same quests you're doing. World of Warcraft is also an MMORPG, if that means something to you. I'm playing on PC, and Neverwinter also exists for Xbox and PlayStation, but everything I'm saying is for PC mostly. Of course, most things will be the same because it's still the same game, but the keybinds and layout is different, and also the players and economy, because it's not cross-platform. Also, I don't know if that's relevant for anyone, but warning, I guess, about flashing lights and sometimes weird camera movements. So I'm just gonna start it and explain it, I guess. Ta-da! These are my characters. One of my favorite things to do in this game is just play dress up with them, so let's take a moment to appreciate their outfits. This one is kind of boring, but anyway. Also, fun fact, I guess, Shanae here is created May 23rd, 2013, so that makes him more than 11 years old. I've been playing this game for more than 11 years. Anyway, the Neverwinter account is free, and you get 2 character slots with the free account, and you can buy extra character slots, I think up to 50 or something total, and you buy them with the premium currency called Zen, and normally you buy Zen with real money. You can get Zen without spending real money, but it just takes a really long time, at least on PC. Having more than one account would obviously give you more characters for free, but it's it has more benefits for you to have another character on your existing account than have to juggle multiple accounts. Steam, if you're playing Neverwinter over Steam, connects to only one account, so it's not even possible to have multiple. Neverwinter is made for Windows, so to run it you need to run it over Steam, or you need to use Vine. I'm just gonna click on new character because I have one slot free here. 3 out of 4 characters used. And that's because they always come in pairs of 2 if you buy new character slots. Anyway, new character. So that's very standard, self-explanatory. You choose a race. Here are all the normal D&D races. Some of them are premium races. That means you can also buy them with the premium currency. But these you can also often buy with just in-game currency. Anyway, I'm gonna go with GIF. You can change male, female here. Continue. Oh, the race, by the way, you can actually re-roll it, re-assign it, even in the game. So even on an existing character that's multiple years old, you can change the race, which doesn't make any sense, like in universe. But it's mostly so that you can, when you buy a new premium race, you can immediately use it on an existing character, that you don't have to level up, you know, everything. Okay. Classes. Those are not all of the standard D&D classes, because we are missing druids and monks and sorcerers. They might at some point add them. There are sometimes adding new classes. I think the game started with just cleric, barbarian, rogue, fighter and wizard. And then they added ranger pretty quickly, and then warlock. Then I think paladin and then bard. So I guess I'm gonna go with fighter here. It says here sometimes you may specialize in either tanking or dealing damage, or here's healing or dealing damage. And paladin is the only one that's tanking or healing. And some are just dealing damage. If you have a role in mind, if you want to be a healer or a tank or damage dealer, you have to select accordingly. It's kind of misleading because it says may specialize in either healing or dealing damage, and you can do both, but not at the same time. You can switch between them. Okay. Ability scores. You don't get to choose much, you only get to choose which of the racial ability bonus options you take. And it's called racial ability bonus because it's depending on your race. So give either plus to dexterity and strength, or dex plus to dexterity and intelligence. And so that's the connection mostly between the class and the race. So you might go back and change the race to something that gives you the 2 stats you want for your class, or you might go back to pick a class that needs the stats that your race gives that you want. If you don't know what would be good for the class that you've picked, it tells you here. It says, as a fighter, constitution and strength are useful ability scores, and will say different things for different classes. So you can choose a race if you wanted. try to choose one at least that gives constitution and strength, or you can just be like, okay, this at least gives one of those things, right? People might not necessarily believe this thing. Like, I'm sure there are people who think that fighters need different stats more, but I don't think you can go terribly wrong with that. So for the appearance, it's more customizable than in Baldur's Gate 3. You can't only choose a preset and the hair color, skin color and stuff. You can customize it completely, especially with the scaling, face scaling. You don't have just, you're not picking between choices, you have these sliders. You can customize your face, and there's the same thing for the body. You can hide the armor to see the body better. And as you can see, they're not naked, so there is no nudity in Neverwinter. As you can also maybe see, or maybe it's just me, but I always think that they have kind of weird posture and proportions. Every Neverwinter character. Anyway, I'm just gonna use this existing one, continue. So it says here, each selection is for flavor and has no effect on gameplay. That's true, none of this matters in game, and I don't think most people put any thought in it. Just take whatever it defaulted to. But you can also, of course, click through all the background original things and read them all and decide on one. And if you switch the thing here, the last part of the description changes. And you can read from Baldur's Gate. And the deities, obviously you will also recognize some of them if you've played Baldur's Gate 3. And I'm just gonna probably stick with 2, I don't know. Okay, continue. So that's an overview summary of everything we picked. You can look through everything, and if you change your mind, you can go back and change it. You can also write your biography, but most people don't do that. And you can choose your character name. And it has some random names that you can click through. I think they repeat at some point, like there's not that many. So you might run into people who have the same name as you to begin an adventure. Now this video, I love it. I think it's really cool. I've always thought it was really cool, but I'm gonna skip it anyway. And it shows you a different introductory scene, wake up.
You there! Come over here!
Okay, so now the game begins, and this is the very first tutorial portion of the game. As you can see, it tells you how to walk. And from now on, the game will just basically take you by the hand and lead you all the way to level 20. all you have to do basically is just follow this glittering path that you see in front of you. And then talk to the people, do what they say. Many players regard everything until level 20 basically as a tutorial. So you reach level 20 and people will say, congrats, you completed the tutorial. But it's of course not the classical idea of tutorial, because you will take it does take a few hours, probably days, to reach level 20. So anyway, I'm gonna switch to my other character to show you what it looks like when you're leveling. Because Xia here is level 14, so yeah. Okay, this here, sorry, I'm moving the camera, so weird. This here is the Protector's Enclave. It's a place where all the quest lines begin and end. There's all the important vendors are here and event NPCs whenever there's an event. And there are no enemies, so this is just where I hang out. This is just where most people hang out, I think. I'm gonna open my journal with J for journal, and then you can see my quests, and there are only 2. This one you can kind of just do whenever, and other than that I don't really have a choice. I'm just gonna do the only thing it tells me to do. And if you click on this tab here, there's the Adventures and Campaigns tab. You can see the leveling adventures, and when you click View the Details, you can see that there are quest lines. So you're gonna do them in order to level up. That's what I did. Neverdeath Graveyard, Welder's Going Down, Ice Peak, and I'm about to do the Chasm, and that's why the only quest I have is to go there. When you have completed an 11 adventure, you get these rewards. I can't see the other ones because I have claimed them, but you can see the ones that you haven't completed yet. The leveling isn't based on experience, it's based on quests, so pretty much the only way to reach level 20 is just to play through these adventures. Maybe you can actually buy a level up to level 20 to shortcut it, like with Zen maybe? I don't know. But if you don't want to spend money, you just do all these adventures. There's nothing else to do. The game doesn't show me any other adventures, and it doesn't show me any other campaigns. It might look like it does, but these are all past. They're over. I can't do them anymore. And this one is basically the same thing, except this is the current one, so once it's over it will join these. And I could technically participate in that, but it really doesn't make much sense if you're under level 20. Oh, one thing I wanted to say was, personally I'm just a horrible player, so I never read the quest descriptions. I never read that part, I only read this part and that part, and that's more than enough to be able to complete the quest if you're also following the quest path. But you should be definitely reading the last quests in every quest line here, every leveling adventure quest line, because those are tutorial quests basically. So everything up here has to do with the story of the chasm, but the artifacts and insignias thing is just the game sending you back here to the Protector's Enclave to learn about artifacts and insignias. And you should know that to play the game, so you need to read it. And it's the same with most of the other things. How enchanting explains enchantments to you, for example. Okay, I'm gonna switch to my main character, so you can see what it looks like once you have hit level 20, because it changes quite a lot.
Let's go!
So das ist Shani, das ist my main. And okay, you can press J for journal to open the quest page, but you can also shortcut to the adventures and campaign page on the journal if you click the add symbol, like the plus. And here they are. As you can see, there's still the leveling adventures. I have them all completed. And there's also other adventures, and with the campaign similarly, there's the past events and the current battle pass, but there's also other campaigns. Adventures generally work just like the leveling adventures. There's a quest line and you just follow it and you get a reward in the end. Campaigns are a little different. You generally, there's you are doing daily and weekly quests, so you're doing the same quest over and over again to get the campaign currency and progress in the campaign. And you get rewards on the way. I'll show you kind of. And there's always a campaign store. Like here's the Heroness store. They all have one, I think. And so what you are doing campaigns for is just to progress this bar, get all of those rewards, and mainly get these boom points. And even once you've completed everything here and it says 100% completion, advancement, whatever, you might still want to continue doing the quests and farming the currency if you want to buy something in the campaign store. These normal campaigns, they are all very similar. They all have that bar in the middle that just fills up, and that's it, basically. Like sometimes there's under it other things that you can do. But the legacy campaigns are just older campaigns that aren't as standardized. So they generally work pretty much the same way, but they look different. Like this one is an upwards bar. And it doesn't just fill with collecting the currency, you have to actually put the currency into the bar to fill it. And this one is like a tree, and the whole background is basically a bar. Goes up from your reputation. So they just look a little different. Adventures and campaigns both have an required item level here. That's that number, so you need to have 18,000 item level to start the Under Mountain campaign, for example. Adventure, I mean, it's an adventure. So that will kind of help you with your choice of what to do first, because when you've finished leveling adventures, probably you won't have that many choices. And generally, once you have that item level, you'll be good to go, and it will be easy enough to complete the adventure or campaign. One exception is the Dragon Slayer campaign. It says only 18,000 for a requirement, and it's fine to start it, but you can't really get far without killing ancient dragons, and the ancient dragons can be very tough if you have too little item level, and you have to kill them together with other players. Like, it's a group event, and the other players might refuse to even try with you if you don't have enough item level for them. So I've been rejected for it before, and I have just under 50,000. So they probably want you to have 15,000 item level. So generally it will not let you start any campaign where you don't meet the item level requirement. But I have started many, as you can see. And that's because I started all of them during this little event thing. That happens when the campaign is relatively new. So Neverwinter is adding new campaigns every once in a while, just so endgame players won't get bored, I guess. And while they're new, you can start them regardless of your item level. And then once you've started them, you can actually continue them. You won't be horribly under-leveled either, because the game will temporarily level you up basically for that adventure. It will increase your item level. So probably you're wondering what item level even is, and I'm going to show you. I'm going to open my character sheet with C, character sheet, and you can see the item level right here. Mine here is 44,000, and as it says, your total item level is calculated from the equipped items, mounts and companions. Total item level determines your base maximum hit points, damage and your maximum main stat values. So it's definitely important, right? You can see when I hover over my stuff, it says how much item level it gives me. This one gives me 1,700, and most things you can equip give item level. Like enchantments also give item level, artifacts give item level, companions. Here, this one gives me 2,430 item level. I'm not sure if that's just the sum of some of those, I don't know, but they give me item level, release gives me item level, and amount powers give me item level. The maximum item level you can have right now is about 100,000, so there's no real, like, no hard cap on that. It's not like at some point you can equip more item level things and won't get more item level. It's just that when you have equipped all of the highest item level stuff, then you'll be about at 100k. So since I'm here, I might as well explain the whole character sheet to you, right? That will take a while, so feel free to just skip it. Probably I'll write in the comments or description where you have to skip to. Okay. Let's say with the stats, right? You can hover over them to see what they do and kind of how they work. But as it says here, your item level determines your maximum main stat values. That means if any of those values here are above your item level, it don't give you any benefits anymore. So you want to stay under your item level, or you're at your item level actually, because you want them to be as high as possible, obviously. And the rating here is just the sum of all the ratings that my different equipment gives. So if I hover over that, you can see it gives me 1020 critical severity. So that number is in this number here. It adds them together to this. And so the game will take your value you have here and calculate a percentage value out of it. So if I had as much power as item level, that would give me like a rating of 50%, and that's the rating contribution. So for me it's 43.9%, and then there's also other contributions, because there are things that don't give you a value to the rating, but a percentage value. It's kind of hard to explain, but that generally means that if you can get something that gives you plus 7% power, for example, that's generally better than getting something that gives you just plus 1000, 2000 power, because this rating thing is more easily capped, because it can go, you don't want it to go over your item level because that's useless, but the other contribution that are in percentages aren't, they are capped at, I think, I'm guessing like 40%, but you probably won't reach that, so it's more likely to help you out actually. And then there are boosts, they work differently, they only have percentage things, and I don't think they have a maximum. I can show you the ability scores too, so you can still hover over them and see what they do. You can also view ability score history, so you can see that I got to assign scores at level 3 and 6 and 12 and 14. You get it. And the ability scores normally contribute to stats as a percentage value instead of like a number. So yeah, gear is, I think, pretty... one thing about gear is it normally has an equipped power, like in this, for example, Executioner's Ferocity, and that makes everything more complicated because it's not immediately calculated into your stats, because it normally has a condition. So when you kill an enemy, so that means you kind of have to keep in mind that your stats will be different when you're actually in combat. When you've killed an enemy, maybe you get critical severity, or maybe when you deal combat advantage damage, you have a chance to increase a random stat. My gear, by the way, is pretty bad, so don't take it like as an example. My enhancement is even worse, so those are enchantments and those are artifacts, and they also just give bonus to stats. The combined rating, most things give combined rating about as much as they give item level, and I think combined rating just gives to every main stat, so that prevents you from getting less powerful by getting more item level. Because if the value rating of the stat depends on how far away it is from your item level, then that means increasing your item level without increasing your power makes you less have less power in the end. Like the rating won't go down, but the total percentage thing will. And that's the important thing. So to prevent that, they will give you combined rating with almost everything, but it's normally not exactly as much as the item level, a little less. Okay, appearance. In Neverwinter, you don't have to look like you're wearing what you're actually wearing. Like, I don't have to use the visuals of all that stuff. I can override it with different visuals, like for example the crowned forest that makes butterflies fly around me. And to do that, you have to right click at gear in your inventory and convert it to appearance library item. So then it will show up here in your library, and then you won't be able to wear it as gear anymore. You can also change color. Most of the things have a primary, a secondary, and an accent color, and in the beginning you only have the basic colors, but you can unlock new colors as you go. There's also a fashion tab here, and that's just a different appearance. Like, you can choose between your gear appearance and your fashion appearance. Like when I click wear fashion, then I look like this. Mine is currently winter themed because I last updated it when the Winterfest was running. The fashion stuff mostly the same. You have an appearance library, you can convert things to an appearance library item, you can change the color. The difference is that there's just 3 slots, head, upper body and lower body, instead of all the gear slots. And those are things specifically just meant for fashion. You can't wear them as gear, and they never have any stats they give you. You can disable the visuals for your shirt and pants if you want your v-neck or boob window to show up better, because most clothing for females has some kind of boob window thing. I don't mind the boob windows. I like them actually. I like being sexy in this game, but I don't know, I think it is a little bit weird that you can wear the very same thing as a male character. Like, the gear is not like gender specific. You can wear a renewing chain armor of smiting +6 as a female character or as a male character, and the appearance is just so different oftentimes, and so much more coverage for men. But generally it's fine. I mean, if you want to be more covered, you can always enable your shirt and pants visuals. But like, just to show you a little bit, this outfit here, this lovely outfit here, looks very different for men and a lot more tame. I think men are just basically wearing pants, like full pants, versus I have my whole thigh, some of my butt out. I don't know. Anyway, I'm gonna go back to wearing my gear because that's the appearance I want to have right now. Okay, history. So my biography is a little bit cringy, but I was 12 when I wrote it, most of it, so maybe I was 13. Either way, don't come for me. Also, when I say just a friendly, clueless blonde, I mean Shani, I don't mean myself, I'm none of those things. Maybe I'm just not blonde. But you know, you can kind of just see some info here, and you can change your title. My title is Protector of the Living right now, and I have collected a lot of titles to choose from. You start with just the background titles, I think. Powers. As you can see when you hover over or click it, the powers have a cast time and oftentimes a cooldown time, so they are real-time combat. It's not turn-based. You can pick 2 at Viz and 3 encounters and 2 daily powers and 2 class features, and they show up in this area here, and you use them by pressing the buttons it says here. So the mechanic things are basically always chosen, like there's nothing to choose from here because they're all active, but you should read them because they are different for every class, and sometimes the paragon paths, the roles, so you need to know how your character works, kind of. The feats you get to, as you level up, sometimes choose one of the 2 that are together, and I just didn't choose any for those. And I can still choose it, I just don't like either of the options. You start with most powers being grayed out, I think. I think you can only see the ones that don't have the different border. And even out of those you can't use all of them until you're leveled up enough. And okay, just kind of look if you can see that in my character. Oh yeah, you can see here. So you can see that all the powers, most of them are grayed out, and you get interesting that some of those are also grayed out. Anyway, you don't see any of the ones with the weird border, and the other ones you can look at, but you can't use yet. And then once you've leveled up a bit, you'll just get this when you click powers. So you don't even see all the powers you had before. You have to choose a paragon path, and the powers will be different. So the powers with the fancier borders, they depend on your paragon path, and you just have to choose one. And in her case, both of them are DPS. That means damage dealer. I don't know why DPS is short for damage dealer. I think it's actually short for damage per second, but that doesn't make sense to me, because you can say I'm a healer, I'm a tank, but you can't really say I'm a damage per second. So maybe, I don't know, maybe that should be just DD. Anyway, those are both damage dealing paragon paths, but some classes have paragon paths with different roles, like Shani is a cleric, has one that is a damage dealer and one that is a healer. So So I have chosen the healer path, and that's what it says here. Devout is the name of the healer path, and that I'm a healer, and those are all the powers that came with that. And if I click view other path, I can see that I could have also been a damage dealer and had all of those powers. Now I told you you can switch between roles, and you don't do that by retraining all the time, picking your powers new. I think retraining costs you a retrain token, so that would be very inconvenient. You do it by changing loadouts. So loadouts, a way to quickly change between definitions of your character's equipment and powers. So basically other loadouts are other versions of your character. The base character stays the same, but you can have different gear, different enhancements, and different ability scores chosen, have different stats, and you have different powers. You have different powers chosen in your tray, and you can have the different paragon path. So I can switch to my dice per second, damage per second, damage dealer loadout, and you see I have different powers here, and I look different. Wait. My damage dealing outfit is kind of my weakest. I was trying to be sexy and scary, but I'm just neither, so I don't know how to do that. And I also have a heal loadout that is for healing, because the one I had before was soloing, so this one is for healing in groups, like in raids. And I'm wearing a pirate hat because I felt like it fit the theme of the newest campaign, and I like to dress on theme, so you can see with this one I'm also devout, and I have the same powers generally, but I have chosen different ones because with this one I don't have to be able to make any damage, versus with my solo one I want to make as much damage as possible without going damage dealer. Most people for their solo build are choosing their damage dealer paragon path if they have one, because it's easier, but I just like being healer. So you get 2 loadouts in the beginning, so most people use them to explore both of their paragon paths, especially when they come with different roles. But you can do whatever, you can make them just a solo heal and a group heal, and have no damage loadout if you're not interested in playing damage dealer. You can also buy new loadout slots with in-game currency. And you can only change your loadout while you're in an invocation circle. There's that blue circle on the ground, and that's you can invoke the patron deity and you will be rewarded in the blue circle. But more importantly, it heals you, it gets rid of negative status effects, it's a save point, and you can change loadouts. Except when you're in a raid that has role requirements. I'm not sure if you can switch between loadouts of the same role still then, or you can't switch loadout at all, but anyway. Normally just in this blue circle, and one exception is the Protector's Enclave. In the Protector's Enclave you can actually change wherever you want, because the whole zone is considered a safe zone. Okay, that was a lot. Roll Phantoms, I guess. boons, as I already showed you, they're from the campaigns, so you get boon points in the campaigns, and here's where you spend them. And they give you bonus to stats, and they're all percentage bonuses. So from my boons I have 4% power more in total than I would have without it. So that goes into the other contribution thing here. So probably the 0.6% is combat advantage is just from boons. Yeah. So because I have 3 times 0.2% combat advantage, that gives me here 0.6% combat advantage in the other contributions. With the power there's way more other contribution, because I have other things that give me a bonus to power that is a percentage value. I don't know exactly what it is. The master boons are fancier boons that don't just give stats, and the advanced boons kind of just give other stats than any of the other. Guild stronghold. You can, when you're in a guild, you can choose one of the boons they have unlocked in every category. So that's one reason to be in a guild. And there's also PvP boons, but nobody really does PvP, so I just ignore it. Moving on to companions. Companions generally are not like in Baldur's Gate. You can't talk to them, you can't have relationships with them. They just kind of follow you around and pretty soulless. When you first get them, they're in your inventory and you have to equip them, and then they'll show up here when you manage all companions. These are all my companions. And you can have only one of them summoned at a time, so you can only have one of them actually follow you. And you pick which one by... You want to pick one that's high quality, so this one is mythic, that's the highest quality. Like, you want one that's like turquoise. But if you don't have that, then orange is fine. If you don't have that, then purple is fine. And you want one that has good combat powers. So, because this is what the companion will actually do if it's summoned. There's also companion equipment and a companion enchantment and a companion enhancement power. Each companion that you equip comes with one and adds it to this list here if you didn't already have it. And as it says here, the value of the buff depends on the item level of the summoned pet. And that's why you want, that's one of the reasons you want a good quality pet, like a mythic pet. I think it's so weird that they call it pet actually. That's why you want a mythic companion summoned, if you can. Because then the value here will be 7.5% and the highest. There's also player bonus powers, I think they're called. Every companion you equip comes with one again, and those are normally unique, and they scale with the quality of the companion that gave you them. So that's why this one says companions to upgrade Night Dancer, because if I did upgrade the Night Dancer companion, then this power that I had selected would get better. You can always, like every character has one offense slot, 1 utility slot, 1 defense slot, and 2 universal slots. That's probably what it's called. So every power is categorized as offense, defense, utility, and can be multiple at once. But I can't slot an offense power into a utility slot. There's a thing called companion bolster. That means your 10 highest quality companions contribute to it, and mythic companions give 10%, legendary give 5%, epic give 3%, rare give 2%, uncommon give 1%, and common probably don't give anything. Oh, half. 0.5%. So your 10 highest quality all get added together to make your total companion bolster, and I'm not actually sure what it does, but it's good when it's high. So you want eventually, at some point, you'd want to have 10 mythic companions. Mounts are very similar to companions generally. You also get them in your inventory first and then equip/bind them, and then the powers they come with show up as options for you, and their appearance also does. So you can choose the appearance here. This is really just about what they look like when you are on your mount. What does it look like in the game? Then there's the combat power. Again, every mount comes with one, and sometimes it's the same one. You can see that tunnel vision gives me multiple mounts to upgrade, and it scales with the quality of the mount that gave you them, or rather with the quality of the highest quality mount that gave you them. So I could upgrade any of those mounts, and it would make the tunnel vision combat power better. The equip power basically, I think, the same idea. I'm confused because it says power at maximum for most of those, even though I don't have that many mythic mounts, so maybe many of those are just capped at, I don't know. Some say that I could upgrade a mount to make it better. Whatever. You pick one combat power and one equip power. The equip power is like passive, just gives you stats, and the combat power is something you can actually do in combat, like your combat powers. It's on your mount slot then. So I would have to press 7 to use this power. Here you can choose between galloping and trotting. I'm not sure why the trot feature still exists. It's just slower. I think it was originally for roleplay or making epic scenes, maybe, if you wanted to record yourself not absolutely sprinting on your horse, but just walking at a more normal speed. But I don't know if anyone has ever used that. And there's also a mount bolster. Works exactly the same as the companion bolster. And then there's also the stable tab. You can pick 5 mounts to be in your stable, and you pick them by quality because they have to have a higher quality than the colors you have in that slot. if the collar is higher quality than the mount, then it doesn't work anymore, and you don't get what it says under equip for the collar. You don't get that anymore. And you mostly pick the 5 mounts in your stable by the insignia bonus power. So here the insignia bonus as well as inspiration. You can click insignia bonus list, and now it tells me at first just the insignia bonus powers that the polar siege bear can have, because I have selected him. But you can any stable mount, and that is not only any mount you have in your stable, or even any mount that you have generally in your storage, I guess. It's just all insignia powers that exist, insignia bonuses. So I mean, I think it is, at least. Maybe it was a bug and they changed it, I don't know. But it was at least every insignia bonus power. So you can basically just pick 5 and try to get 5 mounts that can give you them. The mounts need the right insignia slots to make the power. The insignias themselves also give stats. I can swap this polar siege bear out of stable, and see, now the collar doesn't work anymore because this one is too low quality. And I mostly did that to show you that the insignia on the polar siege bear is still slotted into him. But the stats from the insignias themselves and the insignia bonus power both don't work anymore. And so having insignias in the mounts in your collection here does nothing for you. Normally it doesn't help to have the same insignia power on multiple mounts in your stable, because they don't stack, so it's just wasted. The colors, there's 5 types. This one is practical, this one is supportive. I forgot what the other 3 ones are, but you can just have one of every type. If I had another supportive color here, they would both be grayed out and don't work anymore. You can upgrade refine the colors, and you can upgrade the mounts. So here I can click upgrade selected mount. You can also upgrade companions, not this one because it's already mythic, but I can upgrade this one, for example. That's it, I think, for the character sheet. Okay, so you now know what item level is, and that you get it for almost anything that you can equip to your character. But you're probably wondering how you get better stuff for more item level. And of course you can sometimes get from campaign stores, from just loot from stuff, from heroics. You can get pretty good gear sometimes. And that's actually why the start this campaign regardless of your item level thing is a life hack, because you can not only start but complete this campaign while having very little item level, and then you can buy gear that gives the most item level, I think, out of all the gear in this game, because it's the newest campaign. And the newer campaigns that they add, they normally give better and better gear. So even if you're too late for Adventures in Wild Space and start this campaign regardless of your item level thing is already gone and you can't do it, at some point there will probably be a new campaign that will then have this event thing, and that will give even higher item level gear. It's not necessarily considered good gear, because people for good gear go more by what stats it gives you and what the equip power is. But it is high item level gear, and it can boost your item level quite a bit if you want to unlock more content. But the most important way probably to get more item level is the auction house. So that's third icon from here. It says auction when you hover over it, and it's a little hammer. And that's just a trade window basically, where you can trade with other players in the game. So you can see browse, you can just search for anything. Here, for example, you can buy the race unlocks for the premium races. Then they're not even that expensive. You can buy mount upgrade tokens and companion upgrade tokens to upgrade your mounts and companions. They are pretty expensive, I think. And you can of course also just buy gear. You can use these categories. You can just try to find a helmet that is more than 1500 item level, and you'll find one. The next question would of course be, what is worth buying here? What should you buy in the auction house? And the answer is, I don't know, and I don't really care. But I'm pretty sure there are a lot of people who care and have guides about it and are willing to give you advice. Because the hunt for the best mount and companion and gear for each class and Paragon Path and role is just an important part of the Neverwinter playing experience. I think that's kind of just how MMORPGs work normally. So there's always people who have opinions on what the best mount is that you have to have and everything. You can also, if you just want more item level to unlock more adventures and campaigns, you wouldn't go for the best of everything, the best in slot. You would just go for something with high item level. And there's a YouTuber called Aragon who made a video about that. It's called Zero to Hero. I will link it. A lot of people recommend it to new players, and it just tells you pretty much what to buy when to get your item level to maximum as soon as possible. But if you want actually good gear, you'll have to do more research and not just buy the cheapest with the highest item level. In the auction house, you can see that there's always a seller, and you can normally bid on it or choose buyout and place a bid, buyout. So it's actually stuff that other players had that they are selling over the auction house. You can do that by under this tab here. I'm just selling trash most of the time, so you can pick something from your inventory or drag it from your inventory. It will normally just recommend a number here automatically, but it's not always, doesn't always make sense, so it helps to browse and look what the other people are selling the item for before, and then pick a number. I don't know. Here you could see your bids if you were bidding on anything, but I think most people are just using the buyout thing. Because this is all stuff sold by real players, not everything that exists in this game is in the auction house. They make some things purposefully only available from certain campaigns or raids that can't be sold on the auction house because they are bound. So no player can sell it on the auction house because it is bound to their account, and you can only sell things that are unbound here. So there's still some things that you have to actually play the game to get. So the next question would probably be, how do you get astral diamonds? They're the currency for the auction house, so you need them to buy things. You get it. I don't know why I'm over-explaining this. Anyway, you get astral diamonds mostly by doing raids, and you can open the queue window for queuing for raids with the K button. Ta-da! It's the same window as the home tab that just sometimes opens in your face when you open Neverwinter. So this is where you will play with other players, even if you don't have friends. If you do have friends, you can play with them pretty much always. You can find them in the game right after the initial tutorial. I'm not sure what level you would be, but you don't have to be level 20. You can find them as soon as they let you in the Protector's Enclave, basically. And then you can do all the leveling quests together, you can do adventures together, campaigns together, you can do everything together. You can also do queues together. I think that's kind of the point of MMORPGs, of course. You can play them with friends. You also, of course, will come across other players all the time, even if you're playing solo, because they'll just be in the same area and do similar quests. And the game often encourages you to team together, team up with them, and do dungeons together, heroics together. The party limit is 5, so you can be 5 people in one group. So if you have more than 4 friends, you have to pick favorites. Anyway, the way this works is you can pick some things to queue for, and then you can join the queues, and then it will automatically match you with other players. You have also done that. And when you are matched, then you will be teleported to the right area and do the raid. The most important part of this is the random queues, because they give the most astral diamonds. They give as a daily bonus kind of a lot. So like you can see 30,000, 12,000, 40,000 and 26,000. And this is for the first time you do them each day. I think it's across the whole account, so you can't get the daily bonus more than once a day, even if you have multiple characters. As it says, you're queuing for a random trial or dungeon or skirmish. And it tells you here how what the options are. So it will put you into one of those randomly, and this one will put you into one of those randomly. You get rough astral diamonds at first for those, but you can refine them to normal astral diamonds, refined astral diamonds. Here you can press on the refine thing. As you can see, it says you may refine an additional 100,000 today. So, and I have refined 0 today, so that means you can refine 100,000 every day. And that's also across all characters. So there is a limit to how much astral diamonds you can get this way. You also get seals. Here you get Seal of the Spider God. Right now they change something. Sometimes every once in a while they bring a new seal to the game that will then be the seal that you can get from the trial queue and the advanced dungeon queue. Right now it's the Seal of the Spider God, and there's also a second seal, Seal of the Dragon. And you can buy gear there too, that is often pretty high item level too. Queues have official requirements. You can see here you have to be 30,000 item level to even get in it. And if you have 30,000 item level, you can queue for it. But people often want you to have more. Neverwinter people are generally pretty nice, but they can get kind of pissy if they feel like you're too weak, or especially if you're a tank or a healer and they're losing, they will blame it on you. And especially if you have low item level. But who cares, right? Neverwinter people are also always in a rush, so they will leave loot lying around, they will leave chests unopened, they will leave enemy groups standing around if it is possible to get past them without aggroing them, and they will leave you behind, sometimes at least. So if you find yourself up against a mimic or an enemy group all alone suddenly, because they dodged that group and managed not to aggro it, and you are just running after them, then you run into the enemy group. You just have to kind of decide if you can take them on all by yourself, or if you just flee. If you just run after your group, you can normally catch up to them, and then either will leave the enemy group behind, or they will come with you and you will bring the fight to the rest of the group. Because Neverwinter players are always in a rush, that means they aren't likely to be trying the same thing again. So if you are failing a raid, they aren't the kind of people who would try again and again and again. They prefer to just get out of there as quickly as possible to then just do a different raid with different people. While in a raid you can't just leave. If you do that, you get a leaver penalty that makes it so that you can't queue for anything for the next 30 minutes. But that's just for the first person that leaves. So that's why if one person leaves, almost everyone is gone pretty quickly. And the first person who leaves, kind of sometimes it feels like a self-sacrifice. I'm like, thank you. So the queues here, the skirmish queue, I hope I'm saying this right. This is the easiest one. The item requirements just just 20,000 and the level requirement is just 5. So I can get into this even with Xia, and it's also just the easiest, actually. Like, it's the fastest to do. It doesn't take as long as the others. And you just get in there and you just kill some people, and then you get your astral diamonds. The dungeon queue is still pretty easy normally. Like, I think the Imperial Citadel and maybe the Demon Web Pits, Temple of the Spider, I don't know, could be a little bit more difficult, but other than that, it's also very easy. It takes a little longer and needs a little bit more item level, and it's level 20. The advanced dungeon queue, this one is pretty hard. Like, all of those are, I think, pretty hard to do, and I don't do the advanced dungeon queue because I have social anxiety, and I think everyone will be mad at me. But you know what? Don't let that stop you from running into it with 35,000 item level. I believe in you. The trial queue is like medium difficult. It's normally no problem, I think. Neverwinter is normally just hitting people, so there's no technique you need, but the raids have sometimes mechanics and techniques that you need to know so that you can even win this at all. And I don't think skirmishes necessarily have them, and most dungeons don't, or at least if you make enough damage, you can completely ignore it and just hit everything. But the more difficult dungeons and most of the trials and all of the advanced dungeons have mechanics that you should know. So you would have to read a guide or watch a guide. Especially with the advanced dungeon queue, I would really recommend you do that before you queue for it, so that you actually know what to do when you're in it. With the other ones, normally the people can just explain it to you during the raid. They will notice when you're doing something wrong and then they will tell you. Or you could just write, hi, this is my first time here. Is there anything I need to know? And then they'll probably tell you, and it's simple enough that they probably can tell you. But with the advanced dungeons, it would be a lot to explain over chat. So there's a thing called queue groups. So this one says, for me it just says you are queuing solo, but I could invite people to my queue group and they would show up here, and then I could queue with them together. So that's how you can do raids with your friends. You can also private queue, and group requirements will be ignored. Players who drop out will not be automatically replaced, and kicking is up to the leader and not a vote required. Item level is 1000 points lower. So you could do that with your friends or your guild, but I don't think many people do that. I don't know. I've actually not done that much, so I'm not entirely sure how it works. Like, I think not every queue group is automatically private. I think you can have a public queue group and then it might fill up with randoms. I'm not sure. I guess what I forgot to mention is these queues have role requirements sometimes. Like for a dungeon you need 1 tank, 1 healer and 3 damage dealers, and for an advanced dungeon also. Trial is basically a double dungeon, so 2 tanks, 2 healers, 6 damage dealers, and skirmishes have no role requirements, which is also why they are so much easier to get into and take much less time to, match you. Because sometimes it can take a lot of time. So if you join the trial queue, it might take a while before it actually pops and lets you do a trial, especially if you're a damage dealer. So a lot of people think that queuing over the queue window here takes too long, and they also don't like running with quote-unquote randoms, because they think they have bad equipment, low item level, and don't know what they're doing, and are over just wasting the time. So, to fix that, they are queuing over the chat. So they write in the chat, normally in the Protector's Enclave, where I am right now, because this is where all the people hang out, and normally in the Looking for Group channel, they will write something like, looking for group, random trial queue, and then other people will private message them to be let into the queue group for the random trial queue, and then they will run the trial queue together. And that takes less time. Like normally you find a group in the Protector's Enclave quicker than you would be matched up, and they can inspect the people they are queuing with before and reject people that they think have too low item level. Like you can right click on someone and inspect and see their item level and the equipment. I don't know if many people do that. I feel like a lot of them don't inspect everyone. That would be kind of a hassle, and they just use it to queue quicker, I guess. But some people do. Obviously that whole thing, the queuing over the chat instead of the queue window, is like a self-sustaining or self-enforcing thing, because if all the people are queuing over the chat because it takes too long to queue over the queue window, then there will be even less people queuing over the queue window, which will make it even slower to queue over the queue window, which will make even more people queue over the chat. And similarly, if you think, the people queuing over the queue window are too bad, we aren't winning as often as I want to, so you queue over the chat, then and then reject people who have too low item level for that, then those are the people that will be left queuing on the queue window. So, you know, if everyone who knows what they're doing and has good equipment queues over the chat, and just people who have not gotten the memo, or have been rejected over the chat queuing over the queue window, then of course it will make it so that there are less good people, I guess. So I always queue over the queue window out of principle, and because I don't really want to interact with people in the chat. And it goes pretty well for me as a like just under 50k item level healer, but of course that's like easy for me to say because I am a healer, and as a healer I get into the raids faster than a damage dealer would. Not as fast as a tank, as you can see they're always looking for tanks. And of course I don't do the advanced dungeon queue, so I only do the easy things. It's normally enough though for me to do the easy things, because the 25,000, 12,000 and 30,000 plus the roll bonus, if I manage to pick a time where it says roll bonus healer, then I get extra astral diamonds. So that's what that means. It means that they are looking for a tank right now. Like the game automatically figures out that they are missing a tank in this random queue, so they give an extra reward if a tank were to queue for it right now. And they do that normally most often with tanks, but relatively often with healers, and only very seldomly with damage dealers. So I can normally get extra astral diamonds with this, and the chests at the end of the raid. There's normally a chest, normally 2 chests, and they also have rough astral diamonds, and sometimes refined astral diamonds in them. So overall that brings me to 100,000 astral diamonds a day, pretty much. I don't need the advanced dungeon key for that. The chests at the end, normally you can open one of them just without any key, and you open the other one with a key, and that's either a key that you can buy here in the Astral Diamonds Wanderer's Bazaar. So this is another store, yeah, you pay with Astral Diamonds, but this one is not trading with other characters, it's just an NPC store. And you can see here's a character loadout slot, but more importantly, the adventuring the skeleton key and the great demonic key is keys that you sometimes need for opening a chest at the end of a raid, and it costs astral diamonds, but opening the chest normally gives you more than those back, so it normally is worth it. Some of the things that they're selling in the Wanderer's Bazaar is also available on the auction house, so keep that in mind. It's normally cheaper in the auction house, so you probably shouldn't be buying it in the Wanderer's Bazaar, but the keys only available here. Sometimes they don't need a skeleton key or I don't know, demonic key, what was it? Whatever. Sometimes they need a key of a campaign, so most campaigns in their campaign store have a key that you can buy, and with some of them it's not in this store but just like here, a repeatable thing. So normally you just do the raid and then you just look at the chest in the end, and it would say you need a Castle's Retreat key to open this. So then you'd go into the campaign thing and campaign window and search for a Castle's Retreat key and get one really quick. Well, I guess now that you kind of know how the queuing works, you will also understand the battle pass, because this one gives you progress when you run a random dungeon or random skirmish or trial. This one is different, but it grants the least currency. So normally if you just do a random dungeon and a random skirmish or trial, which you are doing anyway probably, then this will complete itself basically, because you're already running those for the Astral Diamonds, and now you just also get Battle Pass progression for them. But that's also why it doesn't make too much sense to do before level 20, because you can only do skirmishes then. And the Dragon Slayer, I have talked about that a little bit, and how you need to be killing ancient dragons. They are also a queue here, so you can dragon hunt, ancient dragon hunt, and this one just never, I can't select it right now because of this character. This one almost never matches. Like, you can join the queue and then you wait half an hour more for it to actually pop. So that's why you basically need to be queuing over the chat for this one, and then people might reject you for having too low item level. You can, I've heard, at least, get even more astral diamonds when you buy VIP. I'm not entirely sure how that works because I haven't done it, but okay, you can open the Zen market here, and you can buy all sorts of things. Maybe I should, show you some stuff. Not services, probably the most exciting one. Here you can see that you can also buy unlocks for races with them and their character slots. Anyway, what I wanted to show you was the VIP, and this one is free for me only because I have a coupon. Here it says it gives you 30 days of VIP plus 100 VIP points, enough to increase your VIP by 1 rank. So there are ranks to VIP up to rank 12, and other than that it's just like either on or off, like either you have it or don't. But the ranks basically carry over, so if you buy 30 days VIP, you also get 1 rank, and then you can buy 30 other days of VIP, and then that gets you to rank 2. And even if you take a break for a year and don't have VIP for a year, if you then buy 30 days of VIP and 1 rank, then you will have rank 3 for 30 days. Click VIP info here. You can see the same info actually in your inventory here. So this is kind of what the ranks give you. And I'm not sure how that actually increases the astral diamonds you get. I mean, this one says 50% bonus astral diamonds on runs of dungeons and skirmishes in PvP. So that one probably helps. But other than that, I'm not entirely sure. But it always seems like people with VIP have more astral diamonds at least. And I have heard them talk about how it gets them a lot more astral diamonds too. So however they do it, the VIP always gives you an enchanted key, one a day across the account, so you can open 1 lockbox a day. Lockboxes, I think, they just drop from enemies, like any enemies basically. So and it's always just 1 lockbox. That's the current lockbox, but here I can kind of show you those are lockboxes, and they always say requires an enchanted key to open. So I think this one is the current one. So right now if you kill someone, you have a chance to find an astronautical lockbox. And if you don't have VIP and are not don't want to spend real money on Zen and stuff, those are basically useless. I can't do anything with them, I can't open them. But if you can, they can give you kind of sweet things. Obviously the chance to get like the really good stuff is pretty low, but you can get still pretty okay stuff with higher chances, and if you don't want it, you can normally sell it in the auction house and get even more astral diamonds. So that's a major benefit of buying VIP, I think. You can not only buy VIP, you can also buy enchanted keys by themselves, and sometimes you get them, especially in battle passes. Like this one here gave me 2 enchanted keys, so I got to open 2 lockboxes for once in my life. I told you that you can get Zen without spending real money. And you can do that with this button. Use the astral diamond exchange to buy and sell astral diamonds for Zen. So it is exactly what it sounds like. You trade astral diamonds for Zen. However, you trade them with real people too. Like, it's kind of like the auction house, where if you want to buy 100 Zen, then there has to be a real person that wants to sell 100 Zen for astral diamonds. So if you want to buy Zen, you can, you know, put a value of Zen you want to buy and what you want to buy them for. As you can see, the minimum is 50. Like, you have to at least pay 50 astral diamonds per Zen. And there's also a maximum. If I put 100, it's like the maximum is 750. So you could post this as a listing. And I don't think you would ever get your Zen if you didn't do the maximum unit price. So I don't think it makes any sense for you to not go with 750. Anyway, this like exchange thing has always kind of confused me. I think okay, so this one gives me absolutely no listings. But if you wanted to sell Zen, then there's a lot of Zen purchase requests, because more people want to purchase Zen than want to sell it. And this one confused me a lot for a long time, because I kind of thought that each of those listings were like from a single person. So I was like, who is trying to buy 43 million Zen at once? But that's not what's happening here. I figured out, kind of, I hope, that this is just every listing added, every listing that is for 750 added. So I have 2 listings active for wanting to buy 100 Zen for 750 each. So 200 of this number are mine, basically. And so you can see most people are listing for 750, and there are also some listings for lower. But anyone who wants to sell Zen probably does it for 750, and then I think it's automatically matched with the oldest of those listings, and it doesn't have to really match anything. So someone could decide to sell 14 Zen, and it wouldn't have to necessarily be any one person who wants to buy 14 Zen exactly. At least I think that's how it works, because it gives me an original quantity and remaining quantity. So if I was the next in line and you were selling 14 Zen, it might just have me buy these 14 Zen, and then the remaining quantity would be whatever 100 minus 14 is. I'm not good at calculating things. Probably I'm just confusing you, but it is confusing. I don't know. If anyone understands this, please tell me in the comments, I guess. But I've never heard of anyone who was actually buying astral diamonds for Zen. And that makes sense, because nobody really is doing it, which is why there's so many people wanting to purchase Zen, and it takes a long time. people used to say that VIP basically pays for itself because it gives you more astral diamonds, and then you can exchange them for Zen, and then you can buy VIP with Zen. So you just have to really buy it with your own money once, and then you can just keep it going. However, that was a while ago, and I don't think that really works anymore because you can never get actually a listing through. Like, it just takes so long. Anyway, if this is working at all like it says it does, that means that if you're actually willing to spend real money on this, you can basically just buy astral diamonds with real money. Like, you buy Zen with money, and then you buy astral diamonds with Zen, and then you can buy everything your heart desires in the auction house and have probably the highest item level equipment possible within like a few hours. I don't know who would do that because that seems boring, but you would be doing everyone who's waiting to buy Zen a favor, probably. Okay, I feel like I have showed you pretty much everything, way more than you ever wanted to know, probably. But I'm not really done yet. I can show you real quick how it looks like invoking, just because I can do it right now. You can see it in the upper right. This thing here is glowing right now, which means that I can evoke. And you can also see that it... Okay, you can see that it stops glowing when I'm not in the invocation circle anymore. So for me it's Control I. That's the default, but a lot of people change it because it's kind of complicated. The keybind. And I just get random stuff that I don't know. I don't like really need. I think the bonus rough astral diamonds thing is definitely helpful, but yeah. But what I wanted to show you actually was a fight, a really Neverwinter fight. So I'll just go somewhere where there are enemies. I'm gonna go to the newest area with the wait. I'm gonna show you what it looks like jumping, just so you have a comparison, because I'm about to go somewhere where there's less gravity, which is really cool, and I can jump way higher. Okay, Moonruka. This is an area that belongs to the newest campaign, and so this is somewhere where I can only be because of the start your campaign regardless of your item level thing, and you can see here that it's your effective item level is being changed for this adventure. Anyway, I will show you how high I can jump suddenly. Yay! Isn't that amazing? I love it. And I can also show you a fight. Hi, it's me from the future. I decided to re-record this part because I accidentally didn't record the game audio like for an hour there. So I'm not re-recording everything, but I am re-recording the fight so that you can hear what it sounds like when you fight someone. I don't think the audio in Neverwinter is super important or great, I don't know. I actually play without audio most of the time, so that I can listen to my own music or even watch a series on my other monitor. But yeah, I'm gonna attack these people. wanted to come closer so that you can see this body disappearing. Just so you know.
Right, free you.
Oh. Where did that come from? Anyway, as you can see, the bodies just disappear, the loot is just lying around, and there's no blood. Neverwinter's not a scary game. There's generally no blood in combat. There's sometimes blood on the ground, like as part of the environment, on dark ritual sites and like altars to evil gods, I think. But it's not that bad, and same with bodies. Dead bodies, as you can see here, your enemies, they just disappear. But sometimes there will be dead bodies that don't just disappear, that you have to investigate or something, but it's not graphic or anything. It's also pretty safe for you, like you as a player character, you can't be captured, you can't be turned into a werewolf or into a thrall of the Illithid or whatever they're called. You can only be killed and then you just respawn in your last save point, like invocation, circle, campfire. I guess that's pretty fair because the enemies, they also just respawn. Like if I stand around here long enough, they'll just reappear. Anyway, that's that, back to the video, I guess. Just go back to my little circle so that I can feel safe. I guess you can't really see the blue circle as well as with this one, but most of the time they're around a campfire like this. I guess I just realized I could also show you the calendar. Like in the same window where the home tab and the queues tab is also the calendar tab, and then you can see the active events. So this is the current battle pass I already showed you, and right now there's just randomly a VIP discount, double professions is also a reoccurring thing. I'm not gonna explain this one, you'll figure it out. And the double currency is also, most of the time there's something running that gives you double currency in one of the legacy campaigns or all of the legacy campaigns. It's never for the non-legacy campaigns, but it's definitely nice if you're doing any of those campaigns. You can also see the upcoming events, like they normally end and start on Thursdays, so I'm gonna click on Friday and then I'm gonna see what the events are gonna be then. It's gonna be double seals, so you will be able to get double the seals from these queues, and this is especially important for the Reapers challenge because this one counts as a seal, so you get 2. But I'm not gonna explain the whole Reapers challenge. I guess I'm just gonna say the Reapers mark can get you nice things, so you kind of want to do the Reapers challenge, but you need high item level for it normally, and this can be really challenging because it has challenge conditions. Oh, you can click on things to see more information about them. Yeah. So this one is a real event, I think, because I don't really count the double currency for this or that, or the discounts or the battle passes. There's always like some of that running, but the Protectors Jubilee, for example, is a real event, and they're gonna probably decorate the Protectors enclave, and there's gonna be an event NPC, and you can get things that you don't normally get, and yeah. So this is all I'm gonna explain in this video, which is already way too long, but there's a lot of things that I haven't explained, or maybe I just haven't explained them well enough, so you probably have questions. This game sadly doesn't have a good wiki. It had a wiki that's called the official wiki. I don't know if it actually ever was official because it doesn't look very official, but it's called the official Neverwinter wiki, and sadly we don't use it anymore. It's not updated, and the most information in it is useless, so that's it. There's still some people on there trying to update it, so I also think it's sad when people are like, no, you don't even have to look at this wiki because everything in it is just outdated by 7 years. So you can definitely try this wiki, and I will link it, but it won't help you. A few people have made their own personal wikis basically and uploaded them somewhere. Reiner's wiki is very popular. I will link that too. The Neverwinter subreddit also has a wiki, plus you can post a question, of course, to the subreddit. And before you do that, probably just Google the question, because then you'll probably find a Reddit post about it already, or a guide, or a wiki page, or something. There's a lot of articles about pretty much everything. Lots of people are making videos and guides on YouTube, not only Aragon, whose video I have already talked about, but of course there's other YouTubers, hopefully some in your language if your first language isn't English. And of course you can also just watch the other videos from the Aragon YouTube channel if you're interested. There's a semi-official Neverwinter Discord. It's not official, but it's a Discord server that's called Protector's Enclave, and you can ask questions there too. And you can ask your guild members if you're in a guild, and they normally have a Discord or WhatsApp group, and you can talk to them over TeamSpeak or Discord. So at least the guilds that are, a little bit more focused on actually helping their players instead of just, I don't know, each doing their own thing. How you get into a guild is you can press G for guild and it will open a window. I can not show you with Shani because she is in a guild, but I can show you with another character. G for guild, and I can click find guild, and then there's actually a lot of things you can pick. Language, playstyle, I don't know what they're grayed out. There's a lot to choose from, and you can just pick one and then view guild details and write one of those people if you want to get into the guild. The problem with this is, I think there's a lot of guilds in here that are basically dead, don't have any active members, and you definitely want one with active members. Plus you probably want one that's just a good fit for you and you like the people. So oftentimes a better way to find a guild is to either write into the chat, like in the Protector's Enclave chat, if you just write, hey, I'm looking for a guild, someone will probably invite you. And you can also write in the, I don't know, there's places on the subreddit and the Discord where you can find a guild. Guilds will also sometimes be recruiting, so they'll be writing messages in the chat themselves. They're like, hello, we're a level 20 family friendly guild, we're looking for active players, blah blah. So then you can kind of I don't know, feel if you like their vibe. Okay, back to Johnny, just to show you some Baldur's Gate 3 related fun facts that nobody asked for. Obviously, the similarity between Baldur's Gate 3 and Neverwinter is Dungeons and Dragons and the Dungeons and Dragons universe. And I already showed you some things that, I don't know, you'd probably recognize from Baldur's Gate 3, like the deities and Baldur's Gate as a place. Sadly, you can't travel to Baldur's Gate, like I can't show you a Baldur's Gate zone. But there's obviously a lot of overlap, just a lot of things that come with the D&D setting, basically, like Avernus and the Underdark just exist in D&D. And Tiamat, for example, like one of the random trials is the rise of Tiamat. So you can banish Tiamat when she tries to escape. Some of the characters that come with the D&D setting is, I think, Elminster. I think Elminster is in Baldur's Gate 3, and he is sometimes an NPC here too, like mostly during the Jubilees event. Elminster is an NPC that gives you quests. So he will be in the Protector's Enclave for that. I don't think that he's currently staying around somewhere. But in the last Protector's Jubilee event, because it was 10-year anniversary, it's the anniversary event for Neverwinter, and because it was a 10 years anniversary, at least I think that's the reason, they gave players a Elminster companion. I can show you. It's not Elminster himself, it's a simulacrum. So just like, but I can run around with Elminster here, like. There he is. And there's of course other companions that kind of have something to do with races that also exist in Baldur's Gate 3 or something, because it's the same universe. So of course there would also be intellect devourers. I don't know why I called this one atrocity. It's a little bit mean if you read the description. It just strives to do good deeds, and I'm like, atrocious. That was mean. Probably I should rename it. There's also a Illithid? Is that what they're called? I don't know. I don't think Gazalax himself is in Baldur's Gate 3, but you know, the race exists here too. Drizzt, also a companion you can have. I think Drizzt, I don't know how you would possibly pronounce that. I don't think it really is in Baldur's Gate 3, but it's kind of mentioned. And this one is actually like the real Drizzt. Like, this is not just a simulacrum or whatever it's called, it's just him. And I can have him as my companion. Neverwinter sometimes also just takes plot lines, characters, everything from other D&D related content. So obviously I'm not trying to say they steal it. They collab with other, I don't know, and they have collabed with Baldur's Gate 2 at that time, like Baldur's Gate franchise as a whole, of course, but Baldur's Gate 3 was not out then. When they added this guy, Minsk. So he is an NPC that's just standing around here, and he's also a companion. I don't have him, sadly, but I can show you. I think he's considered one of the best companions right now, which is why he's so expensive. He was nerfed in the last patch, I think, but probably still very good. And yeah, so if I bought it, I could have Minsk as my companion, and of course Bo is also canonically with him, even if you don't see him. And if I had Minsk as a companion and summoned him, then I could be standing here with my Minsk and this Minsk, and they would be standing like right next to each other, and nobody cares. Like, obviously makes no sense because they're both canonically the real Minsk, but it's an MMORPG. The kind of interesting thing about this is that they added Minsk before Baldur's Gate 3, but Neverwinter is timeline-wise, I think, closer to Baldur's Gate 3 than to 1 and 2. So it's so they already had to find an explanation as to why Minsk is still alive and here. Because I think this plays already like at least 40 years after Baldur's Gate 2. And I think they do explain it, but I forgot. Like, I told you I don't read the quest lines. And I definitely did have some quests with him. I had him as a temporary companion, but I don't remember, and I don't remember what their explanation was for why he's here, and if they told me anything about his backstory. I think it would be interesting to know, so if you do end up playing Baldur's Gate 3, playing Neverwinter after playing Baldur's Gate 3, please tell me if Minsk's story makes sense across them both, and what Minsk's quests in Neverwinter are. Maybe they have been removed, it's possible, because they have at some point removed some quest lines, but I feel like then he wouldn't be standing here, so hopefully if you play Neverwinter you will at some point have a quest line with him. There's also a space hamster mount. It's not Bo, of course. Bo's with Minsk and also is a miniature giant space hamster, but there's just a normal giant space hamster. Let me see if I can find it here. I do have it, so I can ride around on my giant hamster. This one is also very expensive. It was in a lockbox, so you can buy it on the auction house. And what? It's not here anymore. It's gone. It's not okay. That's sad. Like, just a few days ago there were still some space hamsters for sale, but they were pretty much just as expensive as those things. Like, yes, I did pay 3 million just for the visuals of riding a hamster. They have a pretty good combat power too, I think, so that's also why they're so expensive. And they're mythic, of course. I'm gonna pick my other companion again. And I'm gonna show you some places. Why not, right? I'm gonna show you some places you might recognize from Baldur's Gate 3. So there's the Sword Coast, and I'm pretty sure Baldur's Gate would be on the Sword Coast somewhere, but again, you can't go there, sadly. But I can also just go to different like planes, like Avernus. I can go to Hell. And there's obviously whole campaign about two whole campaigns about about Avernus, and you meet Zariel there, and I don't really remember the plot because again I don't read the quest lines, but I think you make your vote again. Like, I think the story is that she was like a good person and then she turned evil, but if you reunite her with her holy sword, she will be nice again. And I think you actually do that. So Zariel is just like, I think an angel person now for me in this game. Should I show you Zariel? I'm gonna show you Zariel. Because this is her, I don't know, holy citadel, I guess. And I think she's over there. There she is. She has a holy fund called Lulu. Should I show you what Avernus looks like generally? It's just dusty and empty. And there's devils running around. The campfires look evil. You can also go to the Underdark. Here it is. I don't know if that's really interesting. I haven't really played Baldur's Gate 3 yet, so I know you kind of, the Underdark is in it. You can go there, right? You can go to the Underdark in Baldur's Gate 3, but I don't know if it has anything to do with the places in the Underdark where I can go. Like, these are just cities where Drow live. I'm gonna show you the Whispering Post because there's a NPC there that I want to show you. Here I am, and this is the NPC. I don't know how to say his name, I'm not even gonna try, but his last name is the same as Minthara's in Baldur's Gate 3, so I'm pretty sure they're technically related. And he's also not only an NPC, he's also a companion. I don't know if he's in the auction house right now. Yeah, there's one, and he costs 14 million. Yeah, I think that's it. I don't know any of the story, so I can't really tell you anything else. I also wanted to show you Undermountain and Stardock, most importantly, because Stardock is in space too, and it is a Gith place. Like, they are aliens, right? So I guess this is kind of like the ship. You can see they have dragons, and you can see the space around us. And you can press with, you can speak with this Yankee person. I don't really care what he says. Yeah, so I think that's the only place where there's really Githyanki in this game. And they do kind of mention illithids and stuff. Like, this one gives me quests to investigate stuff. I don't know, man. If you press J for journal, there's not only the quest tab and the adventures and campaigns tab, but also the achievements and the lore tab. So the lore thing specifically, if you read every piece of lore as you get it, as you collect it, then I think you would know so much about the Dungeons and Dragons universe as a whole. Like, I think it really probably could help me in Baldur's Gate 3 if I had read those things. But I didn't. I want to show you the Whispering Caverns, because these are the places where there actually are the, I don't know, the illithids, the intellect devourers and stuff. And I've only really played the beginning of Baldur's Gate 3, so I don't know. I think that's just the most recognizable overlap for me. I'm just gonna run to the place where I want to go. So here you can see intellect devourers and mind flayers. But if I go through this thing, I end up somewhere up there, I think, canonically. And this is where their nest is. That's where they come from. And here you can talk to a... I leave you to your fate. So this is kind of what their tanks and stuff look like here. Here's their brain canister. Sorry for the weird movements. So this is a leveling adventure. So it's the last one. So yeah, I don't know, is this interesting or is it boring? again, you aren't really in any danger as an avatar character. You can't be turned into a mind flayer. You can't be captured, you can only be killed, and then you just respawn. So yeah, I think that's pretty much all I can think of that might be interesting for you if you have played Baldur's Gate 3. But I also, as I said, I haven't really played Baldur's Gate 3, so what do I know? Why am I making this video? I don't know. I'm just gonna stop. Have a good day. It's my birthday today actually, so I don't know. Congratulate me in the comments. And bye.